A 2,000-year-old structure is getting stronger, not weaker, with time. Modern science can't fully explain how. Roads that outlast empires, systems that still function without electricity, and materials we still can't recreate. These aren't legends. They're real. This is 10 Roman engineering secrets modern science still can't explain. Forget what you think you know about Roman concrete. Pozzolana wasn't just another building material, it was a chemical miracle that makes our modern concrete look like amateur hour. While our highways crumble after 50 years, Roman structures underwater grow stronger with each passing century. Let's be clear, this isn't romantic historical nonsense. The Romans mixed volcanic ash called pozzolana with lime, seawater, and rock chunks. Simple ingredients that created something our best scientists still cannot replicate. When seawater hits this volcanic mixture, it doesn't weaken the concrete like it destroys ours. It actually strengthens it by forming rare crystals. The concrete literally gets buffer with age, like some ancient gym membership that never expires. These microscopic crystals work as permanent reinforcement bars, constantly toughening the structure. The Pantheon dome has been flexing on modern architecture for 2 millennia like it owns the place. One can only imagine the sheer audacity of Roman engineers who looked at volcanic ash and thought, let's mix this with seawater and see what happens. They accidentally created superior chemistry without understanding why it worked. Modern engineers know the ingredients but cannot crack the process. They were better chemists by accident than we are on purpose. It's like they stumbled drunk into a chemistry lab and invented better concrete than our sober scientists with PhDs. Frankly, even for an unvarnished historian, it's astonishing how they stumbled onto technology we still cannot master. But if you think underwater concrete is impressive, wait until you see what they built above ground. The Colosseum's velarium wasn't some charming ancient tent. It was 24,000 square meters of engineered fabric that could be deployed across 6 acres of arena space. Anyone dismissing this as primitive Roman showmanship clearly hasn't grasped the mechanical nightmare they actually solved. Over 1,000 skilled sailors operated this monster using only muscle power, ropes, and pulleys. These weren't random workers, but specialists who understood wind forces, load distribution, and fabric tension across an area larger than several football fields combined. Imagine coordinating a tent the size of a small town using nothing but shouting and hand signals. The engineering challenges still baffle modern experts working on retractable stadium roofs with computer modeling and hydraulic systems. Let's be clear about the forces involved. Wind resistance on fabric covering that much space could destroy the entire structure instantly. It's basically ancient extreme tent camping where failure means crushing 50,000 spectators. Romans had to distribute massive loads across hundreds of anchor points without modern materials or stress analysis. One calculation error would kill spectators. The coordination required to deploy or retract the system quickly represents logistics that would overwhelm contemporary construction crews. Modern stadium engineers probably have nightmares about trying to build a velarium using only rope and Roman determination. No complete blueprint survived because Romans apparently thought this was standard engineering knowledge. One can only imagine the sheer audacity of engineers who looked at the Colosseum and decided it needed a retractable roof. They solved problems that still stump modern stadium designers with all their technology. But that same concrete mastery created something even more impossible. The Pantheon in Rome stands as perhaps the most audacious architectural middle finger ever raised against the laws of physics. Built nearly 2,000 years ago, this massive concrete dome remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome and hasn't cracked once, while modern concrete structures need constant repairs. The dome spans 43 meters across with no internal supports, creating a perfect hemisphere that shouldn't be structurally possible according to modern engineering textbooks. It's like the Romans decided to build a concrete snow globe for giants and somehow made it earthquake-proof. The weight distribution defies contemporary understanding of structural loads. Here's what really galls modern architects. The dome gets progressively lighter toward the top using different concrete mixtures and carefully calculated thickness reductions. Romans basically invented architectural weight management 2 millennia before modern engineers figured out load optimization. The famous oculus at the top isn't just decorative, it's a critical structural element that reduces weight while providing perfect interior lighting. Let's be brutally honest about what this represents. Romans built the world's largest concrete dome using technology we still cannot fully explain. The concrete recipe changes throughout the structure, with heavier aggregates at the base transitioning to lightweight pumice at the crown. Modern concrete engineers are still reverse engineering Roman recipes like they're trying to crack ancient trade secrets. The Pantheon has survived barbarian invasions, medieval earthquakes, Renaissance modifications, and 2 world wars without significant structural damage. Meanwhile, our concrete buildings start developing cracks during construction. The coffered ceiling isn't just beautiful, it reduces weight while maintaining structural integrity through mathematical precision we're still studying. Frankly, it's humbling when an ancient building makes modern structural engineering look like guesswork. The Romans achieved architectural perfection that continues to mock our supposed technological advancement. But their genius wasn't limited to what goes up. They were equally masterful with what goes down. The Cloaca Maxima isn't some quaint historical curiosity. It's a 600-meter stone tunnel that has been swallowing Rome's filth for over 2,000 years, 25 centuries, without backing up once. Anyone telling you modern engineering represents progress clearly hasn't witnessed this ancient monster in action. Built from massive stones fitted without mortar, this sewer drained 7 hills worth of Roman nastiness straight into the Tiber River. Each block was cut with surgical precision, creating a system that never clogs, despite handling everything a city of 1 million people could produce. While modern sewers have nervous breakdowns during heavy rain, this ancient monster just keeps swallowing whatever Rome throws at it like a stone-cold garbage disposal. The engineering calculations required boggle modern minds. Romans figured out the exact slope needed to maintain perfect flow velocity without any measuring instruments we would recognize. Let's be honest about what this system handled. Human waste, dead animals, industrial runoff, and everything else Romans wanted gone. It's basically ancient Rome's ultimate toilet that never needs a plumber. Too fast and the flow would destroy stone walls. Too slow and waste would pile up into a city-killing plague factory. They hit the mathematical sweet spot perfectly. Modern Rome still relies on parts of this ancient system because it works better than contemporary alternatives. Our modern sewers are basically the embarrassing younger siblings that can't live up to their ancient big brother. It makes you wonder how anyone survived cities before Romans figured out proper sewage flow. Getting waste out was only half the battle. Bringing fresh water in required even more engineering wizardry. The Aqua Appia and Roman aqueduct networks moved 200 million gallons of fresh water daily across dozens of kilometers using nothing but gravity and mathematical precision. This wasn't cute ancient plumbing. It was industrial-scale water delivery that supplied more people than many modern cities. Forget romantic notions about simple Roman engineering. These systems use slopes so gentle you could barely detect them. 1 meter drop across nearly 5 kilometers. It's more level than a Roman senator's moral compass. The first aqueduct, built in 312 before Christ, started a water empire that would make modern utilities jealous. The real engineering brutality comes with their pressurized siphon systems. Romans pushed water down valleys and up mountainsides using pipes that handled crushing water pressure without exploding. It's like ancient extreme plumbing where failure means drowning entire work crews. One tiny leak would destroy the entire system, yet these worked flawlessly for centuries. Modern experts cannot explain how they sealed high-pressure joints so perfectly. The sealant methods remain complete mysteries. They controlled sediment buildup, managed flow rates, and maintained these systems without computers, communication networks, or replacement parts factories. Modern water engineers would probably cry if they had to build aqueducts using only Roman tools and mathematical knowledge. One can only imagine the desperation that drove Romans to attempt water transport across such distances. The logistics alone represents organizational skills we have not matched, but controlling water flow was just the beginning of their climate mastery. Roman hypocausts were not cozy fireplaces. They were sophisticated climate control systems that heated entire buildings more efficiently than most modern HVAC installations. Anyone who thinks Romans were technologically primitive clearly hasn't studied these engineering masterpieces. The reality was far more brutal than simple underfloor warming. Central furnaces burned wood continuously, sending heated air through stone pillar chambers under floors and up through wall cavities. Different rooms maintained different temperatures through airflow calculations that would stump modern engineers. It's like having a controlled volcano under every room, except infinitely smarter and significantly less likely to incinerate the neighborhood. Romans mastered air pressure dynamics, heat transfer rates, and combustion efficiency without thermodynamics textbooks or safety regulations. Fire safety was built directly into the design because Romans understood that burning buildings kill customers and profits. They basically invented central heating that doesn't randomly explode, which is more than some modern systems can claim. Many systems operated continuously for centuries without major accidents or failures. The harsh reality is that no surviving records explain how they achieved this precision. Did they use trial and error that killed workers? Mathematical formulas that disappeared when libraries burned? Modern HVAC technicians would probably quit their jobs if they had to install hypocaust systems using only Roman engineering knowledge. Frankly, it's astonishing how they prevented carbon monoxide poisoning while maintaining perfect climate control throughout massive buildings. Look, if you're actually paying attention to this historical demolition of modern arrogance, hit that subscribe button. Because frankly, most people can't handle having their assumptions about human progress systematically destroyed. But if you're still here, you might just be ready for the really uncomfortable truths about what we've actually lost. Their engineering precision wasn't just about comfort, it was also about spectacle and death. The Colosseum's hypogeum contained over 30 elevators, ramps, and trap doors that turned gladiator shows into precisely choreographed death spectacles. This wasn't entertainment. It was industrial-scale killing that required flawless mechanical timing. Forget romantic gladiator movies. These elevator systems use counterweights and pulleys powered entirely by human strength to raise cages full of starving predators, elaborate torture devices, and doom fighters through floor openings at exactly the right moments. It was like running a deadly theater where the special effects involved actual carnivorous animals and the audience expected fresh corpses. Multiple elevators had to synchronize perfectly during complex executions. One mistimed lift could ruin the entire show or kill the wrong people. The brutal reality is that underground crews coordinated these death machines without modern communication systems. They basically invented the world's most terrifying elevator system using nothing but muscle power and perfect timing. How did they signal when to release which animals? How did they time sequences involving multiple lifts and scheduled executions? Modern engineers have built working models of individual elevators, but recreating the full operational system remains impossible. It's like trying to recreate a deadly Rube Goldberg machine where every mistake kills someone. The Romans managed dozens of moving parts working together flawlessly, slaughter after slaughter, for centuries. It makes you wonder how anyone survived Roman entertainment. The mechanical complexity had to be reliable enough to kill thousands without disappointing the crowd. But if moving people and animals was impressive, wait until you see how they moved monuments. Roman obelisk transport involved stealing 400-ton Egyptian monuments and somehow moving them across the Mediterranean without sinking ships or breaking stones. This wasn't cultural appreciation, it was engineering-powered theft on an imperial scale. The largest obelisk weighs 455 tons, equivalent to 200 cars stacked together. Getting it from Egyptian quarries to Roman squares required logistics that would challenge modern heavy lifting companies with all their equipment. It's like ancient Grand Theft Monument, except the stolen goods weigh more than most buildings, and there's no insurance if something goes catastrophically wrong. Romans built specialized barges that could carry loads capable of sinking ordinary ships instantly. The real engineering brutality began in Rome, standing these massive stones upright without catastrophic failure. They basically played the world's deadliest game of Jenga with monuments that could crush entire city blocks. What kind of ropes could handle forces from lifting 400 tons? How did hundreds of workers coordinate their pulling without killing everyone nearby? Modern theories suggest wooden cranes, lever systems, and counterweights, but no definitive explanation exists. Modern crane operators would probably refuse the job even with all their hydraulic equipment and safety regulations. The structural calculations required would challenge contemporary engineers with computer modeling and stress analysis. One can only imagine the desperation that drove them to attempt such transport. The precision needed to erect these monuments without disaster required knowledge that makes our engineering textbooks look incomplete. While Romans tackled massive challenges, they also left us puzzling over tiny mysteries. Roman dodecahedrons are mysterious 12-sided bronze objects that have stumped archaeologists for over a century because Romans apparently decided their purpose wasn't worth documenting for posterity. Over 100 have been found across northern Europe with zero explanations, instructions, or helpful context. These small items, usually 4 to 10 centimeters across, feature circular holes of different sizes but serve no identifiable function. They have no inscriptions, no standardized design, and absolutely zero mentions in surviving Roman documentation. It's like finding someone's high-tech gadget with no brand name, user manual, or customer reviews. Except this mystery has been irritating experts for 2,000 years. Each dodecahedron differs slightly, suggesting individual craftsmanship rather than mass production for any coherent purpose. Let's cut through the romantic speculation about Roman innovation. These bronze puzzles have archaeologists more confused than students trying to solve calculus with crayons. The brutal, embarrassing truth is that nobody has the slightest clue what these objects accomplished. Archaeological experts have desperately suggested surveying tools, astronomical devices, candle holders, military equipment, and even knitting aids. Here's what really galls any serious historian. Romans documented everything from bathroom etiquette to tax collection procedures with obsessive detail. They wrote instruction manuals for everything except the one thing that would actually be useful to modern archaeologists. Yet somehow they completely forgot to explain these carefully crafted bronze objects that someone clearly valued enough to manufacture over 100 examples. The metalworking skill required suggests these weren't casual trinkets. They obviously served purposes important enough to justify bronze casting costs, but these Roman puzzles pale compared to the ancient technology they actually understood. The Antikythera mechanism, discovered in a first-century Roman shipwreck, represents Greek technology so advanced it makes ancient civilization timelines look completely wrong. This bronze computer predicted eclipses and tracked planets with accuracy that wasn't matched again for over 1,000 years. Built around 150 years before Christ, this device contained at least 37 interlocking bronze gears cut with mathematical precision that modern machining experts struggle to explain. Romans clearly possessed and studied technology that officially didn't exist. It's like finding a smartphone in a Viking burial ground, except the Vikings actually knew how to use it. The gear ratios perfectly match celestial movements, showing planetary positions years in advance and accounting for irregular lunar orbits. Let's be clear about what this represents. Ancient Greeks built mechanical computers while everyone else was allegedly banging rocks together. This device makes modern smartwatches look like digital cave paintings. The level of astronomical knowledge and manufacturing precision challenges everything we think we know about technological development. The brutal reality is that we are still reverse engineering technology built over 2 millennia ago. Modern engineers are basically playing ancient technology catch-up with a civilization that supposedly used stone tools. Construction methods remain mysterious, and building perfect replicas requires modern tools unavailable to ancient craftsmen. One can only imagine the sheer audacity of Greeks who decided to build mechanical universe simulators. The fact that Romans transported and studied such devices proves they recognized advanced technology even when they didn't create it themselves. 10 Roman achievements that expose our modern engineering as overpriced failure. As your unvarnished historian, I've just demolished the myth that progress only moves forward. Smash that subscribe button if you can stomach more uncomfortable truths about human progress. Which Roman feat makes our progress look most pathetic? Drop your brutally honest thoughts below.